Paris, the 17th century, a city suspended between divine glory and visceral decay. To look upon its skyline is to see the heavens, but to walk its streets is to touch the abyss. Here, the scent of expensive ambergris perfumes the air, only to be choked by the rising stench of mud and coal smoke. Listen, the roar of the great markets is never far, yet it is often pierced by the tolling of cathedral bells. Not a call to prayer, but a grim warning of unrest. Watch the golden carriages of the elite as they thunder past the desperate, leaving nothing behind but a shroud of gray dust. This is a city of shadows, where cardinals weave webs of power behind silk curtains, while in the cellar taverns, poets whisper of a coming storm. This was Paris, brilliant, starving, and standing on the jagged edge of a transformation that would change the world. Listen, the roar of the great markets is never far, yet it is often pierced by the tolling of cathedral bells. Not a call to prayer, but a grim warning of unrest. Watch the golden carriages of the elite as they thunder past the desperate, leaving nothing behind but a shroud of gray dust. This is a city of shadows, where cardinals weave webs of power behind silk curtains, while in the cellar taverns, poets whisper of a coming storm. This was Paris, brilliant, starving, and standing on the jagged edge of a transformation that would change the world. To understand Paris, one must follow the river. The Seine is the city's blackened artery. At the Île Louvière, the air is thick with the scent of wet timber, the fuel that keeps the heart of the capital beating. Thousands of barges clog the waters, bringing grain for the hungry and stone for the proud. Here, the grandeur of the Port Saint-Denis looks down upon the broken backs of laborers. There is no grace in this grit, only the raw machinery of survival. Even the Hôtel de Ville, the stern face of civic authority, stands as a fortress against the very people it claims to govern. It is a world of sealed decrees and iron-fisted order, held together by the sweat of the nameless. Step onto the weathered stones of Pont Neuf, the grand stage where the entire drama of 17th century Paris performs in a never-ending cycle. Unlike the collapsing bridges of the past, this stone giant is the city's loudest and most dangerous intersection, a chaotic open-air theater where the scripts of high society and the underworld collide. Imagine the air here. The expensive musk of a passing courtier suddenly meets the acrid stench of the gutter. It is a dizzying kaleidoscope of contradictions. Here, the shimmering silk of a nobleman's doublet rubs against the lice-ridden rags of a professional beggar. In the shadows of stone alcoves, a judge in black robes stands shoulder to shoulder with a cut-purse, both mesmerized by a charlatan selling miracle elixirs made of colored water and lies. The latest palace gossip, whispers of the king's mistresses or Cardinal Richelieu's secret letters, is traded like currency for a crust of rye bread or a cup of sour wine. The bridge is a symphony of discord. The frantic jingling of horse harnesses, the cries of orange sellers, and the sudden laughter of gamblers throwing dice on the pavement. Beneath the massive arches, the Seine flows with a secretive grace, whispering the city's darkest secrets to the weary ferryman. High above this human swarm, the bronze gaze of Henry IV sits atop his horse, a silent witness to a populace as volatile as a keg of black powder. On this bridge, the rigid masks of society finally slip. It is a breeding ground for forbidden ideas and sudden, jagged violence. This is the true pulse of a city that refuses to be tamed. Beyond the deafening noise of the riverbanks lies a different world entirely. This is the realm of the Palais-Royal, the Luxembourg, and the sprawling gardens of the Tuileries. Here, the untamed chaos of the Parisian streets is finally conquered by the absolute rule of symmetry. Every hedge is clipped to a razor-sharp perfection. Every gravel path is laid out as a line of mathematical certainty, reflecting the monarch's desire to control nature itself. In these gardens, power does not shout. It wears a cold, shimmering mask of elegance. The aristocracy moves through these green cathedrals with a stiff, calculated grace, their heavy silk gowns and powdered wigs contrasting with the soft whisper of falling water and marble fountains. But do not be deceived by the beauty. This is a battlefield of wit and whispers, where courtiers hide poisoned daggers in their silver-tongued words and treason in their practiced smiles. A misplaced glance or a secret letter can end a dynasty before the sun sets. From the towering stone facades of the Luxembourg Palace to the perfectly circular grandeur of the Place des Victoires, every inch of stone and bronze is used to command the horizon. It is a vision of Paris reimagined as a Roman dream, frozen, magnificent, and utterly detached from the black mud and the desperate cries of the common streets. Here, the Sun King's order reigns supreme, creating a silent, golden cage for a nobility that is too enchanted by the reflection of its own glory to notice the world outside. This is the architectural soul of an absolute monarchy, a world where geometry is law and elegance is the ultimate weapon. But even the king, in all his radiant glory, cannot command the seasons. When the cruel winter of the late 17th century grips the Seine, the city's glittering mask of elegance finally shatters, and its raw, aching soul is bared to the world. This was the era of the Great Winter, a terrifying frost that turned the flowing river into a jagged highway of black ice. The Seine, once a busy artery of trade, became a frozen, silent stage for a desperate population struggling for its very breath. While the heavy iron bells of Notre Dame echo through a thick, freezing fog that swallows the stone towers, the brutal struggle for life moves indoors. It retreats into the cramped, leaning timber houses of the narrowest alleys, where entire families huddle like shadows around a single glowing coal. This is the season of blue, numbed fingers and frozen ink, where the scholar's pen fails and the poet's breath turns to ice before his words can reach the page. In these dark, shivering rooms, the baker's fiery oven becomes the only sun known to the poor, a flickering beacon of warmth in a world turned to stone. On the river itself, the ice is thick enough to hold horse-drawn sleds and makeshift wooden stalls, creating a bizarre, desperate carnival of survival. Yet beneath the thin layer of celebration lies a profound, icy silence. In the stillness of the falling snow, you can almost hear the city breathing, a slow, shallow rhythm of endurance. Paris waits in the shadows, trapped in a crystalline cage, praying for the ice to break and for the coming of a new, warmer era that might finally thaw the old world and bring the first whispers of a spring that changed everything. King. He was a monarch who did not merely wish to rule Paris. He sought to reimagine its very soul, carving his own divine image into the city's stone. Under his absolute and unwavering command, the suffocating medieval walls that had stood for centuries finally fell, replaced by vast, sweeping boulevards that reached greedily for the golden horizon of the sunset. For the first time in history, the ancient, terrifying darkness of the night was banished by the glow of thousands of flickering oil lanterns, birthing the legendary City of Light. From the majestic symmetrical colonnade of the Louvre to the shimmering gold-leafed dome of the Invalides, Paris was meticulously forged into a diamond of law and architectural precision. The era of mystery was over. Cold science now replaced old superstitions, and the rigid, beautiful clarity of geometry replaced the chaotic medieval maze of the past. The city was no longer a muddy, forgotten fortress huddled against the cold, but a radiant beacon of global civilization, a living, breathing monument to a king who believed his authority was not just royal, but truly divine. Paris had survived the black mud of the slums, the hollow ache of winter hunger, and the treacherous, whispering shadows of the Fronde. Through fire, frost, and blood, it had emerged entirely transformed. It had become more than just a capital of the kingdom. It had become a universal idea, magnificent, defiant, and truly eternal. As the sun sets over the Seine, the reflection of the past fades, leaving behind a city that belongs not just to France, but to history itself. The transformation is complete. Paris is reborn,